Hey, what's going on, guys? Jason is back for another player interview. I've been gone for a while. I am here again, and today I am excited. I got a great interview on. This is Jamond, Turk, Vincent, a high flyer from the University of New Orleans. So happy to have him on here. How's it going, Turk?
Drive from the right sideline, dunk.
It's all good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm happy to be doing some interviews again. Got a new job up here in Kansas, so it's been crazy. Weather's a lot colder than it is in Florida. I'll tell you that, man.
Know it.
it's it's crazy, man. But before I get into your playing career, I gotta ask, Turk. That's an interesting nickname. How did that happen? I gotta ask about that.
Uh, a lot of people ask the same question, but basically, when I was young and growing up, my mom they said I was chubby, so they kind of gave me the name Turkey. But I got into football, and I was like, I can't have people just calling me Turkey, so I shortened it to Turk, and then from there I just kept the name going.
Hey, there you go. Everyone's got an origin, and I mean, everyone knows the name Turk now at New Orleans because your high flying ability, those dunks, those highlights, your ability to help your team win. That's definitely helping you guys out a lot, and people are recognizing that. Obviously, last season, you guys went 12-20 overall, 7-11 in conference. But that record is kind of deceiving because towards the end, you guys were kind of racking up wins and actually made it to the semifinals of the Southland Conference tournament. You obviously were a big contributor on that team, especially towards the end. Talk to me real quick about this past season and more specifically that last chunk where you guys were really starting to find your rhythm and how that's going to lead into this upcoming season.
Uh, Honestly, it just took everybody to just buy in. I felt like in the beginning we just wasn't on the same page, so it just caused a lot of confusion going out throughout the season. So once everybody, because it was just like town breaking down, like it's too close. Like if we want to win, we got to come together, and we had to sit down. We talked. Everybody shared their opinions on what we needed to do, and then we just went from there. So after the McNeese game, that's what we had our change.
Yeah, you definitely took a big jump during your sophomore year. During your freshman year, you were, getting limited minutes here and there off the bench. You only averaged about 2 points, 2 rebounds, behind obviously some great players. I believe Derek St. Hilaire was still there, Troy Green. They absolutely incredible players. But during your sophomore year, this past season, started the season coming off the bench, but getting some good minutes. But especially towards that last chunk, you started about 19 games, all of them, I believe, consecutive towards the end of the season, averaged 7 points, 5 rebounds. But especially during that last couple weeks, I believe the last 2 weeks, you had against Nicholls State, probably your guys' biggest rival in the Southland, 20 points and 11 rebounds. Next game you came out 22 points and 8 against Lamar. And then that second round matchup against Southeastern Louisiana, where you guys won that to make it to the semifinals against Northwestern State, you had 18 and 13, big time leader for your team. What was it about this past season that helped you grow and develop, and especially that last chunk where you just kind of were able to have more of a role offensively?
Uh, Basically, just coming from behind those guys, like you said, Derek St. Hilaire and Troy Green, they kind of showed me the way, and it was a blessing to have those guys in front of me before. But it was just my consistency overall, and just having my team believe in me. So with that confidence, I took it and I ran with it. I never looked back. So I think that was my biggest thing, just being consistent, wanting to do the little things, the things we actually needed. So and coach gave me that opportunity, so I thank him for that too.
Absolutely. And I know you're not, I don't want to say you're not a big 3 point shooter because I know you can knock them down when you need to be. But this past season, obviously, with Jordan Johnson being the most consistent 3 point shooter in the country, he was getting a lot of those looks from beyond the arc. Caleb Wilson Rouse as well. Kamani Dowdy, who's now at Utah Valley, he was a knockdown shooter for you guys. You mainly focused on your athleticism, used your strength to your advantage, and that was a big part of why you were able to dominate towards that last couple of weeks. finding ways to get those offensive rebounds, put them back up. Talk to me about you using your athleticism to your advantage to be able to take down your opponents.
Uh, man, basically, coach is like, it just clicked one day at practice as well. Coach pulled me off to the side. He was just saying, like, you one of the most athletic guys in the gym and also one of the strongest. Like, you got to use your abilities. So, like, when you crash, make 2 moves, swim, get to the basket, and use your lesson, grab rebounds. So, over time, like, just getting those mental reps and just keep going with it, it just kind of was like a second nature. So, yeah, that was kind of that for real.
Absolutely. And you just talked about your coach telling you all that stuff. Head coach Mark Schlesinger for New Orleans Privateers. I've had a couple of friends, as you know, that have played there. Simeon Kirkland and Jamel Myers, who you both played with. They're great friends of mine. I talk to Sim probably once or twice a week. Derek St. Hilaire, I had the pleasure of having him on for an interview during your freshman year, his last year there. And he spent his past from South Bay Lakers. So Mark Schlesinger has been able to produce some great talent. Obviously, you know that very well. Talk to me about what it's like being able to learn from him as a coach and also him as a person, how he's been able to affect your life.
I mean, it's a blessing. So, he tries his hardest to be more involved with the players, and I feel like that's a great thing. So, we take that as a good lesson because he like when he needs to talk to you, like he'll pull you off to the side and tell you some things that we listen. So like we build like a good bond with coach. So it's just like it's great to have him like as a leader, you know. So because he's very impactful on the guys.
Yeah, he's definitely made that impact. Obviously, a couple years ago, you guys made it to the NCAA tournament. This was before your time, of course. Actually, I believe it was before Jamel's time there also. But over the past 4 or 5 years, they've made it to the championship game for the Southland tournament. They've made runs. They've been one of the best teams consistently every single season, except for, I believe, one during COVID when there were a lot of injuries. So he's been able to help guys produce and help them get better throughout their careers. Obviously, we've seen the jump that you made from your freshman to sophomore year. Obviously, you're going to make another jump this season. I'm sure going to be one of those main guys that he looks to on the offensive end. And your defense has been incredible for them with that athleticism. But the Southland Conference, you and I talked about it before we started this interview, it's up for grabs. Corpus Christi, their coach, has moved on to Western Kentucky. They've basically had to rebuild their roster from scratch. Northwestern State, exact same way. All of their guys basically went to Austin P in the ASUN, and they've had to rebuild. McNeese, they have a new coach, and Will Wade, former LSU coach, but again, another rebuild. So you guys are really have the most returners that are used to each other, have that chemistry behind Jordan Johnson, Tyson Jackson. Those two were the main scorers. You were one of them as well, alongside Caleb Wilson-Rouse, Amarian Henry, who's had an incredible freshman season for them. Now he's going to hopefully make that jump as well during his sophomore year. What are you expecting for this upcoming season for your team in the Southland Conference?
Honestly, we have a lot of depth, and we have a well-rounded team as well. So we have a lot of 3-level scores, so we can go inside, outside, and we have a lot of lockdown defenders too. So our team really we produce a whole lot. So it's gonna be exciting to watch, man, because we have so much talent. It's crazy, And I feel like overall, this is probably our best team that we had out of the last 3 years that I've been here due to so much depth. So yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, but uh, I like to see how it play out.
Absolutely. And you guys all honestly have probably the most size as well. Like you talked about the 3 levels scoring, the defense, the size is incredible. Usually at that mid-major level, you don't really see teams with multiple guys that are like 6'10", 7 foot, but you have Tyson Jackson, Deontay Bell, who are both 6'9", as well as Washington. He's up there as well. You guys have a 7-footer and a freshman in, I believe, Dorian Booker. So those four right there, that's incredible size. Omari and Henry's got some size there as well. You might as well be 7 foot with your vert. So it's going to be really hard for teams to beat you guys on the glass, beat you guys in the post, especially with that defense. It's going to be hard for them to score inside. So talk to me real quick about that advantage, having that size down low to where other teams might have to focus on that, and then that creates more open shots for you, Jordan, Caleb on the outside.
Hey, it's a lot. I mean, do with Pop, Bell, Darius, Tyson, all those guys, man, it's very hard. Just practicing with those guys and having those reps and seeing like the things that they're capable of, and like that like you said, it opens up shots for guys like me, Caleb, Jordan, and our newcomers that we have as well. Like it's very hard to guard, you know. So I feel like with those, well, with them being down low, does open up for us. So you know, a lot of guys would like to double team Tyson as well. So and Jordan. So I mean, I don't know how they're gonna do that. It's very, you know, it's hands up. So I like to see that too. It's a lot.
Absolutely. And the new season starts on Monday. 2023-2024 season begins. You guys have a big like non-conference schedule against some very tough opponents. Oklahoma State, Minnesota, Ohio State. I know Loyola, Chicago, and San Francisco are on there as well. Very talented teams as well. But first up, you got Millsaps at home, being able to open up the season in your own you're in front of your own crowd. What does that mean to you guys, and how are you preparing for this season opener to kick this season off right?
It means a lot. It means a lot to just performing in front of them every night. Well, the nights that we do have, you know, for those guys, it's a blessing. And preparing wise, we're working hard every day. We every guy puts in time in the gym, so I like to see that. No guy likes to slack. And it's just the game plan that coach never had for us. And then it's us mainly locking in on details and knowing who does what and what kind of players that they have. So we're preparing and we're going to be ready Monday night.
Absolutely. I will definitely be tuned in watching that game. Been a fan of this program for a while. And like you said, this is looking like a very good team, like a championship team. And I can't wait to see what you guys do throughout this year. Thank you so much for being on this interview with me, man. It really means a lot. And I can't wait to see more highlights throughout this year.
No problem. Appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely.